please pronounce for us this word. M-I-L-K is pronounced.
The most Vermont person you know and why.
Name the drink that Vermonters drink on a hot day working in the fields.
Boom.
Bam.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Well
like
done.
a trick question for a second.
Well done.
Oh, this one's such a good one.
This is a good one. Go ahead.
We know why Joanna is a Mets fan, but Andy, why are you torturing yourself?
Different variations on it.
Joanna's face.
I'm just
I'm
amazed.
sure mine looked the same when you told me that.
Hello, Vermont. I'm Andy Julo,
And I'm Joanna Grossman,
and this is There's No Way in Creemee.
Vermont Politics, Culture, and Beyond.
Thanks for joining us.
Let's switch gears and talk a little bit about policy.
Go try.
I've been wanting to go to the quiz the whole time.
I know, me too. I can't wait for the quiz.
But keep doing the hard part.
Yeah, okay. That's dessert.
Okay. But I always go dessert first.
No, that's not healthy. Let me guess. Your favorite creamy is a maple creamy.
And yours is chocolate sprinkles?
Yes, I'm not a tourist.
Manchester.
Just threw down.
I mean,
Here
Manchester,
on There's
Vermont's
No Way
like
in Creemee.
northern Westchester County.
What a burn. Oh, Bennington County is going to be sending you hate
See,
mail.
the
I
Maple
did
Creemee
nothing on
didn't
Bennington
exist.
County. I
mean,
said Manchester.
Oh, specifically.
This is part of my
Okay.
campaign.
There was no Maple Creemee when we were kids, though. That
Yeah,
came along,
thank-
in the late
Oh,
Thank you,
come
Andy
on.
Early
Julo.
mid-'80s.
Yes.
All right, you're
there
getting
was-
my hard questions from
All
here
right.
on out.
Okay, listen. Vermont's major challenges. We're shifting. Okay,
We're ready, we're
shifting
ready.
away from.
We're
Right, but
clicking
I
away
wrote
from
this
this
question. It's
topic.
my favorite question. I just want to take credit for it because I like this one. But you'll ask it better.
He's puffing up his campaign platform.
Watch your rearview mirror, Clark.
Yeah, watch your back, Clark. Vermont's major challenges have been rather stubborn and difficult to resolve, and we list them as education, healthcare, housing, demographics. I'm going to add affordability. I'm improving on your good question. So these have been major issues, and for a long time, you're very close to all these issues. You've interviewed people who talk about all these issues. Why do you think they're so hard to fix? And can you share with politicians and aspiring politicians, Owen, what your good ideas might be?
These are so big. I mean, why are they such a challenge? To me, one of the pieces comes down to the fact that Vermont is a brave little state, but we're not a rich little state, right? So like where the money comes in and out of is always difficult to manage. And, you know, it's a very desirable place to live. So we have a lot of out-of-state interests that are all over the place here. And that if I was going to answer all of those issues with one answer, that's what I would say. I mean, the remedy so much for me is making Vermont more self-reliant. And like, so when I went to graduate school, everything was about federalism and how the federal government has to keep, you know, small towns from making bad decisions. And we all have to rely on the federal government for everything. And federalism was very big in my school, my program. And now the federal government is like melting down, and we have to figure out how to be self-reliant and have some economic independence as Vermonters. And so every single one of those issues sort of hinges on that and figuring out how we can shore up Vermont and fund the policies that put our values into action. I mean, I can talk about each one of those individually, but that's like the broad brush for me.
And
Yeah, I mean, that's been why it's been so fun to have this podcast and get all these different perspectives on it because there are so many. And I mean, I think part of it is we're not quite sure what we want to be, right? Do we want is scale? Do we want to be functioning at a state level, or do we want to kind of keep our 252 small towns and communities and run everything as locally as possible?
252, good catch.
Yeah.
Very current.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's true.
yeah, I've also wondered if Vermont has pretty solid values. Like we know who we are, but it seems like as the years pass, we're getting more and more different from mainstream America. And so a lot of the problems that if only Vermont was in Congress, if only Vermonters made up the federal government, I feel like we would be taking a really different approach from the approach currently being taken for sure, but even during a Democratic administration or a Democratic Congress. And I think some of our problems are simply we don't have enough money and power to accomplish and kind of implement what we really would like here in Vermont. And so we're just nibbling around the edges.
Yeah. We found that with ARPA too, right? Everybody got their ARPA money through their county government. And Vermont was there with its hand up in the back going, well, we don't actually have a county government. How do we distribute ARPA money?
Yeah, we had that issue with when we settled the opioid cases. We have a panel, but most every other state had a county government, and we were like, yeah, we don't really have that.
Yeah, that is honestly I try not to like campaign on the podcast, but that's part of the appeal to me of running for the Senate specifically, is to be able to create some of those regional partnerships that we're kind of lacking with missing county government. Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if our democracy protects us, but also prevents us from being able to make meaningful change on difficult issues like the ones Charity referenced. And similarly, our smallness. We all love our smallness, and it's a real calling card for the state. But does it make it harder for us to actually solve some of the problems because we all know each other and we have these social connections and fabric?
Oh, I think so. I mean, I always think that's such a thing, that one of the reasons it's been hard to push back on some of the things I don't agree with at the party level, even though people privately will always say like, oh yeah, I totally agree with you on that. But people are afraid to speak out on any number of issues because they're afraid that the person that they're speaking out against is going to be like standing behind them in line at the co-op tomorrow, right? It's just so small. On the other hand, our strength is our smallness, and like we all know each other and we can like create change faster than other places if we try, because we all know each other and can talk to each other and move things forward. And that's part of why Vermont has been a leader on policy, but also is so far behind in other ways, I think.
I totally agree. When I was an assistant U.S. attorney, one of my first cases I had to do something that was against a really powerful interest, and I was told you really shouldn't do that. It could be really bad for your career. I was like, I think that's sort of what we do.
Yeah.
But that is a thing here. The social fabric can be a limiter on our ability to do hard things. And we see it as we try and work on education or healthcare or affordability. They get bogged down and they are slow to resolve and be fixed.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we all are hardcore Vermonters here. We all love Vermont. So what are your favorite things? If you must have things, if not just one thing, like just tell us, what are your favorite things about Vermont? We know Creemee is top of the list. Okay, we can establish that.
Maple creams.
Specifically?
I've always been, so I had a little opportunity to lead the state, and that gave me great perspective on what's special here. And the Shelburne Museum has always been something that that was a museum that you go to on your field trips when you're a kid. Yeah. And then when you go other places, you realize it's a special place that nobody else has, and you really appreciate it.
Oh, I love that answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think we moved here because we felt so value aligned, and like I love how people wear their values on their sleeve a little bit here and are so passionate. Community is so big here. I don't really have family outside my husband and my kiddo, so for me, like I was really drawn to a place that puts such a premium on community and like kindness to each other. I really love that. So those are like not like physical things. I guess like I don't know, like, I mean, I live in Burlington and I love how it's a walkable, bikeable place. You know, that's really big for me. I commuted on my bike for like 20 years, both in New York City and here. And, I love that. I love going for walks with my kiddo around town. And yeah, the food is also really tasty.
I want to make a visual for what you described. You said you didn't have a specific thing. I do. And it's in honor of Mother's Day. My mother wears a button every single day. If you see her, if she's over, she's at my house all the time. She literally will be wearing a button in the house that no one else will see that says, "Make America Kind Again."
Oh, queen.
She wears it everywhere. Go, Mom.
Yay, go Charity's mom. That's so sweet.
It's so sweet.
Charity, what are your favorite things about the state?
Well, I'm gonna take the Andy Julo approach and just say one thing, and that is the Long Trail.
Oh,
I can't even tell you how much I love it because I'm afraid I'll get choked up, but I love it so much. If you go to the Long Trail, there's also a sense of community on the Long Trail. So a perfect stranger, once you get to the Long Trail, it's like a magical place that once you're on the trail, a perfect stranger is suddenly like your friend, your family, your community member. You're there for each other. You're hiking together. Now you're friends. Now you're having dinner together. Now they're out of, they need a charge on their iPad, their iPhone. You have the charger, whatever. Like it's the best.
Doesn't it drive you crazy the way they portray the woods in TV and film as this dangerous place where everybody's mean and there's like horror films that take place there? Because it is the best side of humanity you will see out there in the woods on the trail.
And for a Vermonter, when I lived in New York City, my favorite place was this forgotten, like polluted area in Bushwick. No, it wasn't Bushwick. It was called Bushwick Inlet. It was in Greenpoint in Brooklyn. And it had pollution under the silt in the East River. And so nothing could grow there except for weeds. And there would be like birds and crickets. And I would walk by there and be like, now I'm safe. And I was like, no, Charity, this is like an abandoned factory. Like you probably should keep moving. But I was like, it was so peaceful. I can hear crickets.
Steve and I used to go down to Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge in the city. And it was beautiful.
Get away. Okay, Owen, what about you?
I would just nature. I've been shown some new hiking spots that I've really, really enjoyed. Winter, I love skinning up the Sterling Pond Trail. I mean, as much time as I can spend outdoors, walking in nature is what makes me really happy. The seasons, the cold, the dark, the 4 a.m. in February, the stillness, the smell, the lack of, I love all of that. So really, I would say nature. And, the real hardcore deep Vermonters are really interesting people. They're very self-sufficient, self-sustained, very smart, a lot smarter than I think a lot of people give them credit for sometimes. We really put a premium on education, but a lot of people get education a lot of different ways. So I think there's some really interesting people out there. And actually, this is a question I did want to ask. What guests would you like to see in the future?
Wait, I have to riff off your last comment quick. So you said the people, and I actually, I really wrestled with my move here to Vermont. Initially, I kind of felt like, we were so drawn to Vermont and really loved it. And then for a long time, I really felt like a New Yorker living in Vermont, like an outsider, like I didn't feel embraced. And it's funny, when I started getting into campaigning here, I had some candidates who it seemed like their first goal of the campaign was to win, and their second one was to make me love Vermont as much as they did. And I really, especially my 22 campaign was like that. It seemed like that was like, well, let's just turn down this road so you could just see this here. And awesome. It was. And that did actually help turn the tide for me a little bit. And now that I'm running myself, it's not about running. It's about all the people I meet, like knocking on doors, talking to strangers. I can't believe how many people are nice to me when I'm literally ambushing them at home. Like they're like, they're in like their sweats, just like chilling out at home. I'm knocking on their door and they're always taking the time not just to listen to me, but to tell me their stories, like their challenges and their lives. And I think that's really special. I've done doors in New York too. So like I have a little, no offense, New York, but like it's just, that's a Vermont thing. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Well, it's true. So and that's an interesting aspect of Vermont. And when we go out and speak at any event, Charity or myself, what's amazing is the civic engagement and the level of sophistication of the people that come. Yep. I find that to be an extremely Vermont trait. I mean, we can go to any event and there's 50, 100 people showing up on a snowy Tuesday to talk about some arcane area of the law or democracy or healthcare or educate. That is, I love that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may have heard us talk on an episode when we talked about Campbell's Hump Indivisible, and the questions you got at that forum were so impressive.
Oh, God, I was sweating bullets.
Man, they were challenging you.
Like, these people should be the chair of the council. Yeah, no, very intelligent crowd, and you get that everywhere you go. There's little cadres of activists and experts all over the state, at least in healthcare, that I hear from all the time, that send me comments, send me very, very analytic, thoughtful suggestions on how we should be doing things. And frankly, we often take some of those. We borrow from some of those.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love that aspect.
Owen, will you ask your question again? I'm so sorry.
So the question was, are there any guests that you would like to have come on? If you could have any guests come on your show, who would you pick?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive. But it has to be a Vermont related. Can't do can't do like
okay.
Or something.
We can dip into the past.
Yeah.
Could be Jesus.
I guess that's Vermont related.
There's no Vermont connection.
Of course, there's Christians in Vermont.
Yeah.
That's
all right. I'd have to go Fred Tuttle. Wouldn't that be fun?
Great answer.
Oh, he would be so charming.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. I'm not ready for this question. Oh, man.
Do you have an answer, Owen?
I do.
Do you want to buy?
I have some suggestions.
You need time?
I think, like talking to like founders of the state and like how they, maybe the original Tom Chittenden, like I think it would be interesting to get a better handle on like, what did you have in mind here? What was your plan? I know what Vermont is now and I feel like I have kind of a good handle after talking to, 10,000 voters, whatever. Like I have sort of a handle on like what we need now. But I would like to know like why things were set up this way, like what people had in mind. Yeah.
I'm curious what you should probably edit this part out, but part of, if you go back, like Vermont's core is individualism, right? Freedom and unity. A lot of it's about individual freedoms and rights. And I think kind of it's happenstance. So you have like and Charity's a great Vermont historian, but 1749, you start getting the New Hampshire grants and you get the New York grants, and they're competing grants. And the Vermont recipients of the New Hampshire grants fight like heck to protect their rights to their land. And I think it was really truly happenstance how we came to be. It was 1777.
Can I interrupt?
Okay, yes.
Happenstance. Okay, can we just talk about the topography for a moment? I just mentioned the Long Trail. When you're on the Long Trail, you can literally tell when you get to Massachusetts because the topography changes. So the people who came to Vermont were a hardy bunch. That's real. So yes, happenstance plus some intrepid, adventuresome, independent, rugged people.
Well, we're talking about the spine of the state. Do you want to explain the mountain rule?
Yeah. Really? You want me to explain?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to know what that is.
The mountain rule is the political, it's not a phenomenon, practice back in the day of the state is divided by the Green Mountains, and there's a 2-year term for governor, and every other year a different governor on either side of the mountain would be elected.
Whoa.
The Proctors in Rutland were the more conservative. They were all the same party, of course, because Vermont was always just Republican. And then the Aiken and Gibsons in the more Brattleboro, they were the more liberals. But they alternated every year. And if you look at the governors, you'll see they all go back and forth. Like for many, many years, every term they would go back and forth.
And there's multiple proctors that were governor in the state of Vermont. There's a number of families that have had multiple governors, including the Chittendens, which is Charity's 10th great-grandfather.
Nice.
So it's funny you should mention, because I think Gibson was one of them, but my answer to this question is, have you guys ever heard of the Young Turks? The Young Turks. Do you know the Young Turks, Owen? No. So when Phil Hoff became governor, so that era, before he was governor, he was in the House, and he was in the House with this bipartisan group of very young, well-educated, progressive, lowercase progressive, obviously they were most of them were Republicans.
Right.
And they were dubbed by, I think, the Rutland Herald as the Young Turks. And they drove policy and a progressive vision for the state because they were all really young. And it was, and the reason why I know a lot about them is because one of them was in the House when I worked for Governor Dean. He had been a congressman, he'd been Speaker of the House. Dick Mallory was his name, and he came back. And I remember being like, who is this old guy? Of course, I was in my early 20s. He probably wasn't even that old, but it's like, who is this old guy who's like so smart? And all the staffers, they're all women. I like adored them and looked up to them so much. And they treated him with so much respect and deference. Oh, and a lot of people in the House, I don't think realize, but he was one of the Young Turks, along with Governor Phil Hoff. He was obviously a representative. John Downs, who was the founder, I think, of Downs Racklin Martin, my first law firm. And I think one of the Gibsons, so one of his like grandfather or father had been the governor, but those are the Young Turks. That's a fun piece of Vermont history.
Is that what led to Vermont flipping to Democrats?
The reapportionment was what led to Vermont flipping.
Oh, wow.
There used to be 250 representatives in the House, and then when reapportionment occurred, and that iconic picture of Governor Hoff wearing the King of Winooski crown, which I thought of because I kicked off my campaign in Winooski, and that was actually one of the reasons I did that in 2022 and in 2024. So I really hope that my old professor, Professor Frank Bryan, who you mentioned, is listening, so I can show off that I did deserve that A I got in Vermont politics.
So the question was, any guest that you would want?
I think I'm going with the OG Tom Chittenden.
Yeah.
No offense to the current one.
Charity, who would you recommend?
The Young Turks. That's what I brought. I would love to interview all of them to be like, what was it like how did you cooperate even though you were from different parties? And what was the legacy like looking back? What was the legacy of the work that you did? It's really interesting.
I would recommend, and I told him I would say this, Jason Gibbs, the governor's chief of staff. He's been there 10 years. He worked for Governor Douglas. He's been around Vermont politics for a long time. He's a very thoughtful and has a lot of ideas and concepts, and he's seen it all. I think he'd be an amazing guest. I also think my dad would be a great guest.
That is so cute.
He would be a great guest.
That is cute.
I get to interview him all the time, but I think he'd be. He's a longtime Vermont farmer. He's seen some of the challenges and the changes that happen if you drive around with him. You drive on like Spear Street in Burlington, and he'll be like, "This is the best farming land we had in the state," And now it's all this development. And so I just think that long-term perspective. Any old Vermonter who's seen all the changes, I think, is an interesting person to interview. And I can get you his number. If you want.
All right.
I'm tempted. I was thinking actually we haven't had a ton of older guests. We've had a handful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an election year, so we're kind of focused on that and those issues that are prominent in the election. But it would be nice to dig into more cultural issues.
Yeah. After the primary.
Yep.
Yeah.
Real Vermont.
You want to go to
stories.
Last Licks?
Yeah. Yes, and before we go to Last Licks, I want to tell the listener something important, which is usually Last Licks is last. But today we have something even better last, and that's a quiz, which includes a pronunciation portion.
Oh, no.
So
Guest host discretion. We get to change the format a little bit.
There's no math section, right?
Last Licks is short, and the quiz is long and fun.
Postscript licks.
So the first really important Last Lick question is, we know why Joanna is a Mets fan, but Andy, why are you torturing yourself?
So my mother is from Englewood, New Jersey, and she grew up there in the 60s, and her parents were Yankees fans. So her rebellion against them was to be a Mets fan. The first exposure I had to baseball was 1986 with the World Series on. And I said, okay, the Mets. And so I went to the school bus the next day, and I said, I'm rooting for the Mets. And all these Red Sox fans
I was going to say, there was another
surrounded me.
team there.
The Mets suck. And I felt like it was an attack against my mother. So I dug in my heels.
Wow.
Okay, that's
And
cute.
I chose the Mets. And it's been a torture ever since.
Well, you two are Mets fans. Owen and I are both Red Sox fans. I will tell you this is another piece of Vermont history. I grew up in Bennington County. Why wasn't I a Yankees fan when it was so close to right there? And I'll tell you why. Because when we were Dodgers fans, and when they moved to California, and the reason why we were Dodgers, I'm referring to my family, obviously I was not alive yet, is because you could listen to them on the radio.
Yeah.
And when they left Brooklyn, there was no way we were going to be supporting the Yankees. And you could also get the Red Sox on the radio, and so we became Red Sox fans.
Yeah, a lot of my childhood is split, Yankees, Red Sox. There's actually a lot of Yankees fans when I was growing up. Of course, when I was growing up, the Red Sox were terrible for a long time. And they're terrible again. So
Mets won last night, I'm just saying.
The Mets won last night?
Yeah.
Your owner, Stephen A. Cohen, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I also really want Pete Alonso back. I'm not in charge.
All right, so this is one of my favorite questions you ask. You asked me, you asked Charity, you ask a lot of guests. What makes a real Vermonter? I'll start with Joanna.
There we go.
I mean, it's just the vibe. I guess it's not a really great answer, but Vermonters are into Vermont. We're yes, Vermont rules, and people may want to change it this way or that way, but we all love Vermont and we want Vermont to be its best. And that is, not every place is like that. So I think that's the thing that maybe we haven't quite got on top of when we talk about that with our guests. But one of the things that came up in all of those, so we did an episode, What is a Real Vermonter? And something that kind of rose to the top in a lot of those conversations was this idea of shared values and of really looking out for each other and protecting each other. And that's really deep with me too. So I'm going to go with that as an answer.
Andy?
Yeah, I agree. That's the primary ingredient. And then you layer on shared experiences.
Yeah.
And so many of those are historical events or weather events.
Weather.
I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
We all remember the ice storm in 98. Where were you for that?
Yep.
Yeah. I think if you're here for 20, 30 years, those start to stack up and you start to feel like you belong.
Knowing how to spell Creemee is the other one.
That's an important one.
Miss Clark's in trouble.
I know.
Sorry, Charity.
It's brutal. Okay, last lick. What's your Creemee order? And by the way, since we're bragging, I think that was my addition.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes,
The
it was your legacy,
Yes.
I would say.
Thank you. You
Yeah.
were like, do you have any, there are any questions we didn't ask? And I was like, yeah, you didn't ask me my Creemee order, which I know not everyone is a fan of, but it is what it is. Okay.
It was chocolate vanilla
twist
with chocolate sprinkles.
Yes.
Yeah.
A
Right.
very good order.
It's fantastic.
Don't say that on your campaign trail.
Okay. I'll just.
So I came clean recently that I don't really have a I will answer the question, but I don't have a super consistent Creemee order because honestly, when I go to any place, the Creemee stand or place like that, I kind of like to see what's their thing they're really proud of, the thing that they make that they're someone in the back is oh, I really hope they try this, that's the thing I really want to be trying. Having said that, my favorite Creemee I've had to date is the maple coffee twist with sprinkles at Mr. Creemee down the street on Pine Street. I just love it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Andy?
Chocolate vanilla twist, the trashy, old-fashioned mixed kind, because it is the taste of a post-Little League game for me.
Sans sprinkles, by the way.
Amen.
Well,
No
that's
sprinkles?
Yeah,
No sprinkles.
Calm down, Charity. No sprinkles.
It's a big inter-podcast rift. Yeah.
I love it. You're right. It is the taste of post Little League game.
What position did you play, Andy?
Center field.
Center field. You play in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there a lot of black flies?
Mosquitoes.
I
We
associate
had a lot of
Little League with
mosquitoes.
black flies.
Not so much black flies.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more like a river and
Yes,
brook area.
where we play
We're in a
Little League.
lake with
I remember
mosquitoes.
squishing them on the cap.
We had so many mosquitoes.
Yeah, there was. It was bad. It was brutal.
Yeah.
But I lived to tell the tale.
Nice.
All right, Owen. I think it's time for our favorite segment.
All right.
I'm scared.
Do you want me to start or you want to start? I'll go first.
Yeah, you're so excited.
Right.
You have to.
Is this the
start.
quiz?
The
I'm
quiz.
going to assume that.
By the
yeah.
way, can I just clarify
Yeah.
that? This was drafted largely by Owen, and I encouraged him to delete the questions that even I didn't know the answer to. Okay, that seemed very unfair.
All right. And all these questions are for Joanna, right?
And I should
Yes.
note that Owen and I, between us, have 29 generations of Vermonters. Vermontness.
10
Oh my
and
God.
9. Oh, 29 because you have 10 on both sides.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. So you're contributing 20 of those. I'm only 9.
I know.
Although the truth is our families both got here the same year. Your family eked out an extra generation
That's only my mom's side. My
Yeah.
dad's side was much earlier, remember?
and also 10 generations. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Hardcore.
That doesn't make you any more of a Vermonter than...
That's true.
Yeah, that's right.
I agree.
So, all right. Anyway, so you should not get any of these wrong.
There is
I'm going
something
to direct
of
these
a...
all to Charity now.
Yeah.
I like that you guys are doing a quiz because we have something of a tradition on the show of torching each other with quizzes. So yeah,
All right. Well,
it's good.
for your listeners of
Yeah.
your show, I will note that we did give you the opportunity, if you wanted, to look at the quiz questions in advance.
I didn't.
And you have both abstained from doing so,
Okay, we both did.
which is
okay.
impressive because this was there for the taking.
Yeah.
All right. First
Feeling
question.
regretful of that now.
All right.
That's the wrong choice.
Why don't we give? You want to give points? Give points.
I'll have it
So they're
then.
Is it
incentivized
like
to
a
go.
dinger and a buzzard?
You can just
I should have brought my taboo buzzer.
raise your hand if you know it. Yeah. So we'll do 5 points for a correct answer.
Okay, wait, one more
Oh, this is a
step. 5
competition.
points.
Yeah.
know that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get.
Let's do
creamed.
that. And then we could do 3 for a partial correct and just 0 for a false, right? Something like that. 5, 3, 0.
Yeah, okay.
And
Are
the
you gonna make a
winner,
buzzer sound?
the winner gets a Creemee on Charity and I.
Okay.
Oh,
I love it.
All right. First question. All right. This one's actually kind of confusing, but I'll ask it 2 ways. What type of cows do Vermont farmers predominantly milk?
So, Holstein?
Correct.
Boom. Wait,
Bon-
can I have for our bonus points?
Yeah. Yeah.
However, if you were milking your cows and selling it for cream,
Yep.
which cow? Owen's raising his hand because he grew up on a working dairy farm.
Is that not a Jersey?
But you didn't.
Oh my!
Jersey.
It is a Jersey.
Jersey.
But you-
Creamier milk right there.
Yeah.
The Holstein has a higher volume
Right.
of milk, so a
that
lot of the
huge?
farmers want
Yeah.
it for milk, dairy production for drinking. But if you want milk for my dad would be shocked that I would know any of this.
No, he'll be so proud when he
So
hears this
proud.
episode. I know this because I took dairy cattle judging, the class
Oh, yeah.
at the University of Vermont.
Yeah.
I have to say, I worked for the Agency of Agriculture, And I knew the Holstein one, but not the other one. It's just Andy said it first.
Jersey.
Yes,
That's
he
good.
raised his
Very
hand.
good. All right, so Andy, he's got how many points for the bonus? He's got 5 for the question.
I said
points for
3.
that.
3?
I just
so he's
wanted
up,
the
he's at
listeners
8.
to
at
know
8.
that I'm not a jerk.
8. Okay. Next question. State motto. Long pause, noting for the listeners.
Isn't it freedom and unity?
Boom.
Bam.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Well
was like
done.
a trick question for a second.
Well done.
Oh, this one's such a good one.
This is a good one. Go ahead.
What was Vermont's original name by the white settlers? I think we might have stumped them.
Yeah.
Do you mean the Latin?
I feel like
No.
I know it, but yeah,
This is a harder one. It's a surprising answer to many.
It is
I don't know.
I don't know.
I've forgotten.
Gotcha.
New Connecticut.
Right.
Oh, no.
I was going to say Upper
Yes.
Connecticut.
Oh, yes.
Whoa.
I know. You were going to
Okay.
say Upper
I
Connecticut?
was going to say Upper Connecticut.
Okay, that's
Close.
Is it a
You probably
partial?
get, like,
You got
partial
the
credit for
Connecticut.
that.
Well, I didn't say it.
He didn't
though.
say it.
Okay,
say it.
so don't be shy. All
But I
right,
appreciate the
0.
integrity. I'm not.
Too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
good.
good character.
Thank you.
Good
This
character.
isn't-
Is that a bonus
You
point?
should run for something.
Yeah, right. Dog
I think
catcher.
these are gonna be
2028
gimmies.
dog catcher.
Dog catcher.
Yeah. Joanna's running my campaign.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm already sketching out the plan.
These are you're both going to get 5 points.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, name the most Vermont thing at your house.
Chickens.
5 points.
Me.
Yeah, love that.
That's a really good one.
Andy, you are Vermont.
That's great.
That's great. Okay, most Vermont thing you do.
Probably Nordic skiing.
Yes, it is. We
Yeah.
swept the Olympics, didn't we? Mm-hmm. 5 points.
Joanna, I have like 5 answers for you.
I know, I mean, bike to work was the thing I did forever.
Your dad bikes to work, and he's very Vermont.
He did.
Yeah.
I'll give you a very Vermont story. So 5 points for Joanna. That is
Yes.
a very Vermont
I
thing to
think
do.
That is a very Vermont thing to do.
I was going to say for you, civic engagement.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. That's a
that's-
good one.
That was where my head was going for
Yeah.
you. So my dad worked on the family dairy farm, and our house was in the middle of the farm, and it's in Middlebury, and then the farm was down the road about a mile or so, maybe a little less than a mile. Every morning he would get up at 3:30, 3:45 in the morning, and he'd bike to work.
Wow.
February, January, whatever it was, minus 10 degrees, he was biking. And on the way home, he'd bike home to wake us up in the morning. And we had a really old farmhouse with those handles that you kind of click,
Oh, yeah.
And he would ride home without his gloves on. And if you weren't out of bed by the time he came home, he would come upstairs, sneak upstairs, and put his hands on your chest to wake you up. And so because the house is so old and creaky, you could hear him, and you'd leap out of bed because you did not want those hands.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that's a pretty Vermont thing to do to your youth.
Yeah.
Scar him for life.
Yeah. Love it.
Like, I've got to go to law school.
All right, next question.
You can do this one. I asked you this one, and you knew it, and I was impressed.
Name the drink that Vermonters drink on a hot day working in the fields.
Oh, it's that vinegar stuff. It's we've made it a million times. Switchel.
Yes, Joanna.
Joanna, that is so good.
That is impressive.
Very
Eat that,
good.
Julo.
Nice.
Do you what? I have my own recipe. Do you put ginger in yours?
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lemon, ginger, vinegar.
That's a
Maple
bougie
syrup.
Switchel.
It's delicious.
That's a
I
Manchester
will
Switchel.
confess to you that it's wonderful. Excuse me. We did actually not my
Addison
one of
County,
our-
we can't finance those additional ingredients.
I don't know if that made it to the islands. I've never heard of it.
No, God, no.
No.
Not
Well,
with the
and-
maple and the ginger and the
Oh, yeah.
kale.
Nope.
Okay, I didn't say that was your.
It's
Don't
on-
exaggerate.
It's on the tip of your tongue.
Misinformation.
On the tip of your tongue.
Misinformation.
Owen's going negative.
He hasn't even launched his campaign and he's already going negative.
I'm just going to see how it plays.
We'll get you the data.
You know, I guess I have to get the Clark family recipe. I don't know that if there's ginger in it. I'll have to do some inquiries. All right, so this we will have to describe the answer for the listener, the audio listeners. Demonstrate how a Vermonter waves while driving.
Shit.
So
I
we
don't know.
get
Hang
your
on. Okay. Andy has put his hand in the air all the way with a fairly dramatic flare to the left. I would describe it as.
Doing this one.
Oh,
Is that what you're searching for?
B is hand closed in the air, fingers opening.
Hilarious.
Okay.
All right, Joanna.
I have like, my family sometimes teases me about this a little bit. I have like a funny kind of emphatic wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know
That's
if
not
that's
it.
very, no, it's not the Vermonter answer. It's just how I wave.
This is not.
I get excited
Are you
very
doing
easily.
the
This-
nod?
oh,
Is that
that's
what you're
another
searching
good
for?
one.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy has like a whole suite.
Yeah.
About 30% less.
I like
though.
to
That was
shake it up because I see the same people on Route 2 every day. So I like to give them a
neither
little
of these-
variety.
None of these are what I was expecting. Owen, are you?
They're probably all talking like, what are we getting from Julo today? We're getting the head
Yeah,
nod, the hand
exactly.
explosion.
I like to give them a reason to get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah. Everyone in town. Can't
Everyone's
wait.
making sure their schedule's aligned with Andy's.
So was this what you were expecting?
No.
What were you expecting?
Hand on the wheel,
Yeah.
Yep.
roll the fingers.
Whoa.
I was going to
Charity,
do this.
Yeah, Charity's got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
It's,
right.
it's a hand roll where you kind of showcase the thumb and you roll
Yeah.
the index. Yeah, like
Yeah,
Charity's
you
got
roll
it.
your pinky
Yeah, you
down.
roll. Yep, exactly.
Counterclockwise.
Yep, exactly.
Okay,
And in
here's,
your head, you have to be like height.
I want to explain my wave.
That's good.
Mine is a story. So, I'm originally from New York. That's a big place, lots of people, right? So, like, if you ran into someone you knew on the street in New York, it was like, oh my God, what are you doing here? It's like, and actually, the first, like, few years I was in Vermont, I was still doing that. And I'd be like, if I ran into you guys on church, I'd be like, oh my God, Owen, what are you doing here? And you'd be like, yeah, it's like the only street in town. Like, of course I'm here. So it's like, but it took me like a long time to course correct, but I still have that moment of like, oh my God, I know that person. So I just got like overexcited.
Yeah.
Joanna, I ran into my childhood friend, like my best friend from middle school in Brooklyn. And this is the most Vermont thing ever. He was registering people to vote. That's what he was doing when I ran into him. So that's very Vermont.
Love that.
Yeah, there can be a little, it's a little roll and like maybe a head nod, That's sort of the,
All right.
yeah. It's
Kind
like
of
this.
aloof.
It's like that.
Just chilling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Well, maybe Charity's, hey.
In your head, that's what you're saying.
That's
I feel like I'm asking all the questions. Will you want to get the next one?
Sure. I like this one. This was a late edition last night.
It's good.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
crushing. We're
Okay,
crushing.
we're crushing.
The most Vermont person you know and why?
Andy.
Okay, why?
Oh, and why? Mm-hmm. He gets Vermont. Like, he gets it. He just lives it. I mean, that's not a good answer. I guess, Andy's outdoorsy. He's from here originally. He can, translate for me. He's very involved in his community. Sorry if this is horrifying.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, but that's the real answer. Chris Winters, I ran his statewide campaign, also very Vermont-y. Similar reasons, came from a small town, really, really got the Vermont vibe. And that's been really fun for me, having moved here, to see the world of Vermont through their eyes.
Andy?
My Nordic ski coach, Dion Nurmeg, who ran for lieutenant governor on, I think, an independent campaign. I couldn't tell you what party he is. He just baffles me in that regard. He built his own house. He chops his own wood. He got, I think, busted for picking up a deer on the side of the road and dressing it in a raincoat and sunglasses one time, trying to bring it home. Sure. I mean, he's just done everything in Vermont, and everybody knows who he is. And he'll use anything for ski wax, except ski wax he has to pay for. And he skis in jeans.
Oh, that last detail was a kicker.
Real curveball.
Yeah.
He's confident enough and Vermont enough to ski in jeans.
There's a lot of good skiers at Mad River in jeans.
Yeah.
And they know they're not going to fall and get wet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Charity, what would your answer be?
My great-grandparents, who were my babysitters when I was really little. And so when I was 2, 3, 4 years old, I was basically doing the things that if you were a boy in the 1920s you would be doing, because I was fishing in the brook. I was chewing spruce gum. We don't have to get gum at the store, kids. We'll just do it this way. And then my grandpa, he was always his farm, he had sold the cows, but that's where he lived. And so we would be in the woods, and there was a bridge he was always building. And I remember he telling us to walk down the road. It's not a road, it's a path in the woods from the cows probably. And he's like, just keep going, girls, keep going. And when I say stop, cover your ears, because he was using a chainsaw. So we would be covering our ears, and we would get corn. We would pick corn from the garden. And I remember one time there was an earwig, and I always associate ears of corn with. I'm always prepared for the earwig to come out and bite me, because I was so little. Grandma would fry up the trout in just an iron skillet with butter, and the fishtails were so good, and they just had this iconic brick farmhouse, and they would play music and sing songs, and it made such an impression on me because they were our babysitters when we were little, but they literally had a room called the summer kitchen in their house that when it got hot, it was, most Vermont.
I try and see, I think there's a lot of Vermont in each person, right? So Andy, building your own house, that's a pretty Vermont thing. Joanna, your activism, your civic engagement, Charity's incredibly fearless and massively independent, and I think that's a real common spirit amongst Vermonters. I was with my little brother for dinner recently, and he wasn't wearing glasses, and I know he needs glasses, and I said, where are your glasses? And he's like, I'm just winging it. And I go, can you see okay? He goes, still dropping deer. I'm like, all right. And then he said he hadn't been to Chittenden County in 4 years.
Whoa.
But he lives in Middlebury.
He lives in Middlebury and was not being facetious. So he's got some Vermont vibes that are quite strong, for sure.
That's awesome.
But I think there's parts of what makes a real Vermonter in everybody, from all different stripes. My grandfather had pretty strong Vermont vibes. Once I was eating dinner with him, and he had this T-shirt, and it was so thin. I mean, this was see-through. And he was 88 years old at the time, and his sleeves were all ragged. And I was like, his name's Grampy Ben. I said, Grampy Ben, what's going on with your shirt? He goes, oh, do you remember when I fell in the woods 6 years ago cutting firewood with the chainsaw, and I sliced my arm? This was a shirt I was wearing, so I had to cut off the other side to make it match.
That's good.
So,
That's
he kind of had it a little bit himself.
That's awesome.
And he's also a very generous, anonymously generous man who lived quite frugally himself. I think that's a spirit of Vermont, too.
Yeah.
All right, Charity, you want to do the pronunciation quiz?
I do. I just want to make sure that you had so many great questions that I nixed, and I just want to make sure that there aren't any that you feel we should be asking.
Whoa. Questions I got.
Okay,
vetoed.
how about this? The question that I didn't even know the answer to. I'm going to ask you.
I'm going to get it
Unless
wrong.
you guys, please. I can only assume you don't know the answer, but maybe you do. What do farmers yell to call their cows? Joanna, by her response, does not know.
I don't know, but I like that there's a thing.
Me too.
Should we?
I haven't heard that one.
Maybe it's regional, Owen.
Yeah.
It could be. There's different.
I'm learning island culture is much different than the rest of the state.
Yeah, islands, that's a different part of Vermont. We would all, in Addison County, it's cup by sea.
Yeah.
And there'd be different variations on it.
Joanna's face.
I'm just amazed.
I'm sure mine looked the same when you told me that. I was like, what?
I can't say it worked particularly well.
Right.
But that is what we would yell.
We click in our chickens. We go, and they come running.
Yeah.
And seeing chickens run is hilarious, by the way, if you've never done it.
In such a hurry.
It's like
Urgency.
It's like the best thing that's ever going to happen to them is before them. It's so hilarious. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. For now, the pronunciation quiz. Please pronounce for us this word. M-I-L-K is pronounced...
Milk.
No. Milk.
Milk.
what I
M-E-L-K.
Milk.
Okay.
Milk.
Oh, that's kind of how my husband says it.
Is he a Vermonter?
No.
Well, of course he's a Vermonter.
He's a Vermonter.
Was he raised in Vermont?
By choice. No.
All right. Well, that was I wonder if this is our dairy roots. Did you have family, Andy, who were in the dairy industry?
No, I worked at a dairy farm briefly.
My father has no Vermont accent except for the word milk.
We had very few people with Vermont accents in the islands.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, next question. Next, do you want to do the next one?
I kind of want to hear your Vermont accent.
Oh, I bet you do. Okay, the next one is something that you climb. When you're hiking and you climb and it starts with an M, how do you pronounce that word? Mount.
Yeah.
Oh, a mountain?
Wait, don't say the T. It's a mountain.
Right,
Very good.
Andy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, right. That's a classic
I think
Vermonter thing.
I say mountain now. I think I've retrained myself to pronounce my T's. I didn't used to when I was younger, I'm pretty sure.
Mitten.
I hear myself dropping them now and then, and it's like that's like a more recent thing.
Yeah.
I've probably been palling around
Well,
with him.
this one I feel this is a real topical because of Joanna's job in 2022. How do you pronounce the cold season during which we ski?
Winter? Oh,
Well,
yeah. Winter.
Winter.
Can I tell you a funny story? I was on Shelburne Road getting gas. This is like 20 years ago. And I was just like picking out like a snack or something. And I overheard one of the clerks say to the other clerk, "Isn't it weird? You know Joe Winter? Yeah. Well, why do we say winter when we talk about him? But when you're talking about the season, we say winter."
It's true.
I was like, yeah, why is that?
It's true.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the last. We can't actually spell this one out, but all right. So knee high by 4th of July.
What does it refer to?
Corn.
There you go.
All right.
Well done.
That is your quiz.
Thank
I
you for
unfortunately
quizzing
stopped
us.
keeping score, but it looks
won.
extremely equal.
I won.
I actually,
Yeah, you did
I
pretty
actually
well.
think you
actually.
might have won.
Yeah, you might have.
Joanna's
really
Switchel
impressed.
answer was pretty impressive.
that
Thank
feels
you.
bonus points.
Yeah.
that was really, and
I
that
think
you
that
have
speaks to the
Switchel.
flaw of the quiz, really. If someone from New York won it, really.
What
Don't you
if I
think?
win the primary?
Is that the flaw,
say it's like
Andy?
voter
that's the flaw.
tampering.
The other great, Andy was impressive with the Jersey cow milk for cheese. That was impressive.
Yeah,
too.
he didn't hesitate. He
Yeah,
knows.
that
pretty
was
good.
cool.
He
was
knew for cream. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
That was hard and impressive. Yeah.
You were impressive.
Thank you.
Do you want some other ones just for fun?
Yeah.
All right.
You
Yeah.
bonus questions?
Sure.
Lightning round.
These are the ones that I
So
asked.
scared.
All right. First governor of the state of Vermont.
Thomas Chittenden.
I knew that one.
First Attorney General.
Remember Baker?
Do you know my uncle and aunt lived in his house?
Is that right?
Do you know
But
what
he
his
wasn't
wife
the
was
first
named?
Attorney General. No, what?
Desire.
Really?
Dead serious.
Cool.
Remember and Desire Baker.
That's awesome.
in Arlington.
Wow.
Governor of Republic of Vermont. First governor of Republic of Vermont.
Republic of Vermont. That one I don't know. Was it also Thomas Chittenden?
It was.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Ditto
right.
the Attorney General, who was Samuel Hitchcock, by the way.
Oh, okay.
State bird.
Hermit thrush.
Great. Who named Vermont?
The Allens.
The who?
The Allens, right? Ethan and Ira?
Yes, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Or was it-
Allens.
Well, they named it New Connecticut.
But didn't they change it, though, when they
the
went
Green
to the
Mountains?
Continental Congress?
Yes.
Yeah.
What year did Vermont become a state?
1791.
Great job. What year was it the Republic of Vermont?
That was
Andy's pretty good.
1777?
Yes.
All right.
Nailed
I
it.
know.
He went to
Nice.
primary school here.
Yeah, Joanna's like faulty.
Yeah, this is all fourth grade stuff.
You had strong feelings, Owen, about the state mammal.
Oh. It should be a deer.
It's not.
Is there a state
What
mammal?
is it? Yes.
Is it relatively new?
No.
No.
Okay.
But it's
It's a state
iconic
mushroom
to
now, right?
Vermont.
It is.
A catamount?
No?
No, but
Good
that
guess.
that is a good guess. It was
Think
developed
Addison County
here.
actually.
Addison County.
That's the clue. Think Addison County.
Is it a cow? Is
The
it some
Morgan
kind-
horse.
Morgan
Oh,
horse. Oh, that makes
wow.
sense.
Horse,
Yeah.
Morgan horse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You think it should be a white-tailed deer? Owen?
I know the flower.
Or cow.
What's the flower?
Red clover.
Red clover.
Okay, I need to tell you this story. So my childhood friend now lives in Maine. He has a tattoo of a red clover.
Ah.
He has a tattoo, not of a Morgan horse. He has a tattoo of a hermit thrush. And when the state mushroom was passed, I texted him a picture of the lion's mane. Is that what it's called? Nine's tooth.
I think so.
Something tooth.
Yes, something
Could
tooth,
be.
I think.
Not lions, something tooth. It does not look like it would make a very fetching tattoo.
Oh,
He was
no.
like, I'm drawing the line. I'm not getting the mushroom tattoo.
Yeah. You don't want fungus on you.
No.
Yeah,
No, you
for
don't.
Eternity.
All right. Good.
I think that's it. That's all of our questions. You guys did great.
Thank you.
This was
Thank you,
fun being
guys.
a co-host. Thank you so much for inviting us to do this. It's really great to put you on the spot.
Thank you for being our all-star host.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. This was really fun.
When you floated it, I was really excited. And then we've been looking forward to this for quite a while. So thanks for letting us do it.
Yeah.
It was a blast. Well, hopefully we'll do it again.
I'd love to.
We hope you all enjoy this episode. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode.
Thank you all for listening.
Follow us between episodes for the latest updates on our socials at There's No A in Creemee on Instagram, Substack, and Blue Sky.
And catch us on our next episode of There's No A in Creemee, Vermont Politics, Culture, and Beyond in Apple Podcasts and Spotify.